Hello everyone. Today we will look at linear inequalities in one variable. And we will begin with the introduction. Okay? We have already looked at the number line. I believe that everyone knows what a number line is. Okay? We know that a number on the number line is more than any number on its left and less than any number on its right. So, going to the right, numbers become more. In other words, numbers become bigger. But going to the left, numbers become less. In other words, numbers become smaller. Okay? So that is how a number line is organized. Okay? Now, look at two integers, positive 2 and positive 8. Okay? You can see that 8 is to the right of 2, and for that case 8 is more than 2. We can write that as 8 is more than 2. But you can also say 8 is greater than 2, or you can say 8 is bigger than 2. Okay? Now, look at negative 2 and negative 8. You can see that negative 8 is on the left of negative 2. So, negative 8 is less than negative 2. Negative 8 is less than negative 2. So we can say that negative 8 is less than negative 2. We can also say that negative 8 is smaller than negative 2. Or you can say negative 8 is fewer than negative 2. So, 8 is more than 2 and negative 8 is less than negative 2 are examples of inequalities. Okay? Now, we can say that A is more than B. Or we can say A is greater than B. Or we can say A is bigger than B. Okay? Now for this case, we can read this as A is less than B. Or we can say A is smaller than B. Or A is fewer than B. Okay? We can read this as A is more than or equal to B. Or A is greater than or equal to B. Or we can also say A is bigger than or equal to B. Okay? We can read this as A is less than or equal to B. Or we can say A is smaller than or equal to B. Okay? Or we can say A is fewer than or equal to B. And finally, we can read this as A is not equal to B. Or we say A is not the same as B. Okay? So, inequalities are the notations that represent the relationships between numbers by using signs. we can say this sign is more than, or you can say greater than, or you can say bigger than. This one you can say less than, or fewer than, or smaller than. This one greater than or equal to, or you can say more than or equal to, or bigger than or equal to. This is less than or equal to. You can say smaller than or equal to. Yes, this one you can say not equal to, or you can say not the same as. So these are the signs of inequalities. Okay? Now, we are going to perform an investigation that will help us understand more how to solve the linear inequalities in one variable. Okay? So we'll have 4 cases, then we will look at the working. We look at the inequality after the working. We look at the inequality sign if it has been reversed or it has not been reversed. To reverse is like to change. So we are going to see if the sign has changed or has not changed, and then we will draw our conclusion. Okay? So we will consider the inequality 10 is more than 4 to complete this table. In case 1, we look at multiplication by a positive number on both sides of the inequality. Now we have 10 is more than 4. Let us multiply the both sides of the inequality by a positive number. Let's say positive 2. So we say times 2 and times 2. We know that 10 times 2 is 20 and 4 times 2 is 8. So we have 20 and then 8. So we understand that 20 is more than 8. So the sign will be more than. What do you think? Has the inequality been reversed or not? You can see here, initially it was more than, and even here it is more than. So the inequality has not been reversed. So what's our conclusion? If x is more than y and c is more than 0, c more than 0, it actually implies that c is a positive, because any number that is bigger than 0 will always be a positive. So c times x, then c times y, what will be the sign of inequality? We have already seen that it will be more than. We look at case number 2. Division by a positive number on both sides of the inequality. Remember, we have got 10 is more than 4. So let us divide it by positive 2 on both sides. So we see that 10 divided by 2 will give us 5, and 4 divided by 2 will give us 2. So we have got 5 and 2. But obviously we see that 5 is more than 2. So check. Look at before and after the working. Still, the sign is the same. So the sign has not been reversed. How do we conclude? We can conclude that if x is more than y and c is more than 0, remember, c more than 0, it implies that c is a positive. So x divided by c and y divided by c will still make the sign remain the same. Okay? Now, we'll look at another case. Multiplication by a negative number on both sides. Remember, we have got 10 is more than 4. So, let us multiply by a negative number on both sides of the inequality. So we have times negative 2 and times negative 2. Now, 10 times negative 2 will give us negative 20, and 4 times negative 2 will give us negative 8. So we have negative 20 and negative 8. So, of course, we know that negative 20 is less than negative 8. Now, look. Before the working, we have got more than. But after the working, we have got less than. So you see that the sign has been reversed. How do we conclude? If x is more than y and c is less than 0, then c times x is less than c times y. Please note that when you multiply the both sides of the inequality by a negative, the sign has got to be reversed. If it is more than, it will be less than. And if it is less than, it will be more than. Okay? So, we'll look at the final case. Division by a negative integer on both sides of the inequality. Remember, we have 10 is more than 4. Now, let's divide by a negative number. Let's say negative 2. So 10 divided by negative 2, we will get negative 5. And 4 divided by negative 2, we will get negative 2. Now look, negative 5 and negative 2. We know that negative 5 is smaller than negative 2. So we have got less than. Check. Before the working, we have got more than. After the working, we have got less than. So the sign has been reversed. How do we conclude? If x is more than y and c is less than 0, then x divided by c will be less than y divided by c. So this actually means that should I divide the both sides of the inequality by a negative number, if I had more than, then I will get less than. And if I had less than, then I will get more than. I believe that you have really understood this very, very well, because this is very important as we go further to solve the linear inequalities in one variable. So, from our investigation, we can conclude that we can multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a positive number without reversing the inequality sign. But if we multiply or divide both sides of an inequality by a negative number, we will have to reverse the sign of inequality. So I believe this is very, very clear. So thank you for watching. Let's meet again in the next video, whereby we will now focus on the solving the linear inequalities in one variable. Thank you and goodbye.